Hello guys, in today's video we are going to talk about how to make gold with leatherworking. Are you also struggling with leatherworking? Do you feel like it has been the worst profession in this expansion so far? Well, then you are not too off on how I feel, but I have actually made a good leatherworker now that should be pretty optimized. So we will see if it has been any improvements, if leatherworking is good again, and if there are any profits to be made. So the plan is to first go through a little bit on what you can craft with leatherworking to make profit, and then we're going to look at what profession gear is the best one to use, and we're also going to look at what specialization you should have to be able to actually see any kind of profits with leatherworking. So if you have watched some of my previous videos, you might know that leatherworking is actually my least favorite profession so far in this expansion. I did not actually level it until like a few weeks back because I need to get some actual stats on it and see how good it is, if it's good or if it's bad, because I always have been hating on it because it has been looking really bad. But now I have actually made a leatherworker that is actually fairly optimized. It isn't completely min-max, but almost. This is pretty much everything that you need to be able to make gold. So you have a lot of different stuff here to craft. You have the reagents, of course, and you have the consumables such as the armor kits and the drums. The drums are used for like mythic plots and raids. Can be good to craft, but very hard to find profit sometimes on those, but still can be really good. You have all of the leather armor. I don't know how good it is. I actually think it's really bad, so generally don't even look at those blue armor pieces because they are even bugged on the auction house, so they generally don't sell that much in my opinion. You have some different stuff here to sell, but mainly what I focus on is of course the profession equipment, but we're not gonna talk about that a lot today. I will just say real quick that I focus quite a lot on the profession equipment for my flipping on different servers, so I craft them here for very cheap and send it to other servers, but we're not gonna talk more about that right now. What we are mainly going to talk about is actually going to be the reagents. This is basically the way that I feel is the best way to make gold with leatherworking right now, and that is going to be mass crafting reagents. You have a lot of different reagents here actually to craft. You have 7 of them. They are actually going to be differentiating a little bit in how much profit you can make on each of them, and it goes up and down quite heavily. I feel like in leatherworking some days you make more profit, some days you make less. That's pretty much the name of the game though in World of Warcraft right now, so you will be making more and less on different days. But as you can see, the carapace back hide for example is used in other crafts here, so you have the carapace back hide in a lot of different stuff here, so that is one that you want to craft of course to be able to craft the other reagents for cheap so you get better profit margins. As you guys know, every time you craft something you have your stats, so whenever there are like more than one crafts that you can do, the basics is that your stats will compound and you will make even more profit. So if you craft this cheap, then the next one is going to be even cheaper, etc., and you can make more gold doing that. So what I highly recommend is first crafting carapace hide, and then you will actually use that for other crafts. This is the best way to do it. But those reagents actually sell fairly well, but not great. It differentiates a little bit for sure. What I feel like is that the carapace back hide of course is selling the most because those are used in the other crafts as well, and all of the stuff is of course used in different stuff later on, like what you want to craft. But I highly recommend just selling the reagents. If you want to, you can mass craft those and sell. It's pretty basic as usual, but the carapace back hide sells fairly decent, but it's not like other professions. I feel like with, for example, tailoring or even engineering or like inscription, everything where you can just sell reagents. I feel like other reagents sell actually faster than the leatherworking ones. It's what I feel like, and the sell rates are lower on those, so I think that's actually true, at least not just a feeling. But it still can be good and you can find some decent margins here, so you shouldn't look away from leatherworking. I think I have probably been way too harsh against it because there are actually some nice margins here. But as I said, don't craft too much at the same time because it can be a little bit harder to move, so don't mass craft too much, but you can still craft a bit because it sells fairly well and you can get decent margins. So that's pretty much like what I do right now, and what I have done with leatherworking is crafting the reagents. And for reagent crafting in the leatherworking, you're going to look at, of course, having the 2 blue different accessories that has the best stats. Of course, those always have the same stats, And you want to have the multi-craft leatherworker's knife, of course, in blue quality 5, enchanted with resourcefulness, of course, because this is going to impact you the most. Multi-craft is for sure the best for all of those because they can actually multi-craft proc, and that's pretty much always best. I will just say a quick notice here before you start crafting and stuff. You have to use the file of bountiful seasons right now. This has swapped over and will give you resourcefulness. So it will actually give you 135 resourcefulness now, the quality 3 one, which is absolutely mandatory to use when you're crafting nowadays. It will increase your margins. From what I've seen, people have not really adjusted to this yet, and the markets hasn't really adjusted to this yet. So if you use those now, they are even better until the markets are adjusted, because everything will eventually be adjusted because everyone is going to use the bountiful season file. But you have to use this. It will increase your margins by a lot now. 135 resourcefulness is actually really a lot. So make sure you always use that for all kind of crafting now where you can resourcefulness proc, which is pretty much everywhere. So make sure you always use this on every profession, on every craft. Use this file. It's OP. Just a quick note as well for you guys that are new. Make sure you use the file of quick hands as well. Will increase your crafting speed a lot. So that is actually really good as well. But let's look at the specialization. In here, it can be a little bit messy, but what you need for those kind of crafts is basically you're going to want to put 30 points into learned leatherworker. This is mainly going to give you ingenuity and concentration stuff, but you will get the extra resourcefulness there in the end, which is needed because you want to min-max everything, of course. You want to have the industrious innovations because this one actually gives you a lot of multi-craft, and that is absolutely OP. So make sure you get this one. Then you want to get the waste knot, which gives you a lot of resourcefulness, also absolutely mandatory. The one down here, commanding concentration, is useless unless you're planning to craft with concentration. Then you can get this, but otherwise it's useless. Then what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to have 30 points in flawless forts and 30 points in spotless stitching. This is just basically going to give you some skill and some resourcefulness stuff that is actually useful, and it will give you some ingenuity, which is useless, but you kind of have to go there anyway. And then you will get the spotless stitches for the multi-craft, the other nice stats here, and the skills as well. After that, which I don't have yet, you want to get the Nerubian nose. It basically just impacts the writhing hide or the writhing hide, I'm not sure. So that's where you need this to get some extra stuff, some resourcefulness, etc., and skill. But other than that, that one is useless as well. But basically just fill this out after you have those. So that is the basic spec. It's not too many points, but you need like 60, you need like 150 points. It can take a week. I'm not sure how fast you can get it, but it requires a little bit of points, but it should be fine now because you get so much catch up, etc. By the way, guys, just a real quick thing. I have decided to become an affiliate with GoldCap. They offer a lot of premium gold guides. For example, profession guides, best farms, best gathering routes, also very detailed flipping guides and more. So if you guys want to check that out, make sure you use my coupon code ELON10 for a discount at checkout, and click the link in the description or the pinned comment to join. It will support my channel a lot. But of course, there is no need to do this. You watching is very enough for me, but I just want to let you guys know that I have done that and it would help me out a lot. But guys, that is pretty much it for the leatherworking. There is not much more to say. If you want to go the profession equipment route, all you guys want is just pretty much get max resourcefulness. As you guys can see, I am missing quite a few stuff for that. I haven't gotten it yet, but I can still craft them quite cheap, so I do that. But that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I hope that you will be able to make some kind of money with leatherworking if you have it. But still, it is not my favorite profession, but it actually is usable now, and you guys can try it out if you want. I really appreciate you guys watching the video. Leave a like, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.